And joining me now is Republican candidate for the 13th Norfolk District, John O'Leary. John, welcome to It's All Local.
Great to be here, Seth.
So you're running for the 13th Norfolk District seat, state representative. Why?
Why? It's a great opportunity. I think we need to get our state back on track a little bit. And I'm a longtime Needham resident. I grew up in Needham, graduated from Needham High School in 1980. And I actually worked in state government for several years. I actually ran 3 state agencies. And I saw the good, the bad, and the ugly.
You worked for Governor Romney.
Right. I was chairman of the Civil Service Commission, chief human resources officer, and ran the Division of Unemployment Assistance. And one of the things I saw was the ways in which the state legislature made it difficult to provide efficient public services. And I think that really needs to change.
How so? What ways would you change things?
There's a lot of things I'd like to change. One was in the area of personnel rules. I was chairman of the Civil Service Commission, and our personnel rules are really rooted in the 19th century, and it makes it very difficult to do things efficiently. I'll give you a story. When I was heading up the Division of Unemployment Assistance, one of the things we did was we outsourced our health care benefits to Blue Cross and Blue Shield. And there was one part of that that I thought we could do more efficiently in-house, benefit eligibility. The health care provider really wasn't good at that, so I insourced it. And that made sense, it was more efficient. At the same time, there was a printing operation that we had in our basement, which was not efficient. One of the first times I went down there and there was this 20-foot machine wrapped up in plastic. And I said, "Oh, is this new?" And they said, "Oh no, this has been here for years." They bought a machine that they couldn't use. It was a $250,000 machine. Bottom line is, they weren't an efficient operation. But there was a law in the books called the Pacheco Law, which meant I couldn't even really consider outsourcing. It would have been impossible for me to do that. So the rules that are in place make it very difficult for public sector to operate efficiently, and they really need to be changed.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the other things you'd want to work on if you're elected?
Well, the number one issue is jobs. And the way that you create jobs is you make Massachusetts a great place to do business. And that means lower taxes and more reasonable regulation. And in this economy, I think what we really need to do, and what we've been doing recently, is we've headed in the wrong direction. Taxes have gone up. The retail sales tax went up 25% to 6.25%. We really need to cut taxes to make Massachusetts an attractive place for business. Then you will have jobs, and that's what makes everything work.
Do you think it's really a hindrance to have the sales tax up to, a little bit, that people really aren't going shopping?
I mean, people are still going to go shopping, but they're going to shop elsewhere, and companies are going to take steps. Capital is mobile in today's economy, and there's also a sense in which Massachusetts is recapturing its old Taxachusetts reputation that every time the state legislature has a problem or a budget gap, they're just going to raise taxes. And when business gets that perception, they're much less likely to expand here. They're less likely to set up a manufacturing facility here, which is why we're losing jobs to not only other countries, but to places like New Hampshire and to Florida and to North Carolina.
Some people might argue, though, that we need taxes in order to pay for services that people enjoy.
Yes.
And then nobody's going to say, "Oh, if my house is on fire, I'll put it out myself."
Yes.
So how do you respond to that?
Oh my gosh, of course we need taxes. Taxes are essential. And one of the things I saw when I worked in state government is the very important work that state government does. I've been inside of MCI Concord, the prison. I've been to some of the centers.
As a visitor.
As a visitor, yes, thank you. Been to some of the centers for the mentally handicapped and things. And there's a lot of important things. So of course we need taxes. But there comes a point where if you are overtaxing and if you're not delivering value for the tax dollars that you're taking in, that's where you get a problem. And that's where the state's really reached. The state government has never really tightened its belt and made the hard choices. It's always seen, if they have a problem, they just hike taxes. And the other thing they do is they cut local aid. And when they cut local aid, that's the aid that provides teachers, firefighters, police, libraries. The last 3 years, our state government has cut local aid. That should stop.
What are the pressing issues that you see for the 13th Norfolk District?
The 13th Norfolk District represents Needham, Dover, and precincts 1 and 2 in Medfield. And a big issue right now in Medfield is the Medfield State Hospital, which is a state-owned facility, and it's now shuttered, and they're looking at potentially moving that property. I think it's very important that the facility be completely environmentally clean before anything happens, and I also think that it's important that the people of Medfield have a strong voice in how that property gets developed or transferred so that the character of that town doesn't change. Then the other big thing facing all these towns is just this sense of the economy getting going and just a sense that government is not working for them. You know, the people of Needham, Dover, and Medfield are good, hardworking people who follow the rules. They want a chance to build a family and live a life. And all too often, the state government is working against them, and I think we need to change that.
Now, John, you've also written a book called If We Can Put a Man on the Moon, Getting Big Things Done in Government. So this is probably like your mantra, correct?
Right. When I left the Romney administration 3+ years ago, I got a grant from the National Academy of Public Administration to write this book. And I spent a year and a half researching government projects and looking at what works and what doesn't. And I'm very proud of the book, and it's great. It's really a nonpartisan look at the patterns of public sector success and failure. And it sort of asked the question, why, if we could put a man on the moon and win World War II and build the national highway system, why do we now have Iraq, Katrina, and the Big Dig, and all the failures of the economy and the Gulf oil spill? It's very frustrating. And then what I did is I'm currently a research fellow at Harvard Kennedy School, where I research public sector innovation. So I know from what other states are doing that you can do better. We can do better in Massachusetts.
You have a Republican opponent,
yes,
Josh Levy. Why should people vote for you over Josh?
Well, I think the main thing is just the experience. I've served on the local school committee here in Needham, which gives me a really great sense for local issues and town government. I've run the 3 state agencies for Governor Mitt Romney, which is a great look at how state government does and doesn't work. And I've also researched government academically. So it's really a unique combination of abilities. And people have seen how I behave on the school committee. They know I'm going to focus on issues. They know I'm going to be positive. They know I'm going to stand up for what I believe in, but also always have a focus on what's best for this community. And in the case of this race, the communities of Needham, Dover, and Medfield.
All right, well, we wish you the best of luck on September 14th.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and we'll be right back with Jerry Wasserman.